One fine day, Mr. Bizet, he wrote an opera, so I'll explain. It's about a girl named Carmen who was a dancer in sunny Spain. Now, if you kids don't know what opera is, well, opera is one of those things that when a man gets shot or stabbed, instead of bleeding, the guy just sings. Yes, this is a story of Carmen, a little gypsy girl who used to read palms. She had a midget sister who used to read knuckles. Carmen was a twin, but it was easy to tell them apart. Her brother was built different. Carmen had a peaches and cream complexion, and why not? Every morning her father hit her in the face with a breakfast tray. Carmen came from a poor family. Imagine, they lived 14 in one room. They had a sleek piggyback. They didn't mind, but the pig complained. Her folks were in the rubber and tire business. Her mother was a rubber in a Turkish bath, and her father was just tired. He hadn't worked in so long, his birth certificate was printed on the back of his unemployment check. Gee, they were poor. Carmen had to put birdseed in her shoes to keep her pigeon toes away from her corns. They couldn't even afford face powder, so she powdered her cheeks with baking soda. One day when she walked out in the hot sun, her face broke out in little biscuits. Gee, they hadn't eaten in weeks. Then one day the stork paid them a visit, and their little faces were all wreathed in smiles. A blessed event? No, they had roast stork for dinner. Carmen wanted to become a Spanish dancer, but she didn't have the money to buy castanets, so she stole her father's false teeth, and that's how she started clicking. Carmen also loved to sing. She had no training, so she would just open her mouth and throw herself into it. Carmen's father met a terrible end. He liked to drink, but he couldn't afford it. One day the doctor rubbed his back with alcohol, and he broke his neck trying to lick it off. Carmen grew up. What other way could she grow? Oh, there was another way. She grew fat. So she went on a diet. All she ate was coconuts and bananas. Coconuts and bananas. She didn't take off any weight, but boy, could she climb trees. Then she got a job as a mechanic in a candy factory. She used to screw nuts into peanut brittle. She also worked as a dairy maid in that candy factory. She used to milk chocolates. This was a sweet job, but she got tired of it and went to work in a cigarette factory. She worked there so long, even her fingers had filter tips. It was there she met Don Jose. He was a private in the Spanish Army, which is about as low as you can get. She picked him up. Well, it wasn't exactly a pickup, it was more of a letdown. It was love at first sight. And she took another look. His personality had that magic ingredient, succotash. She thought he would be a great lover because wherever he went, people would look at his face and say, "What a kisser." He had a powerful build. He was so strong he could grab himself by the back of the neck and hold himself out at arm's length for 10 minutes. What an athlete. At college, he was string changer on the yo-yo team. And what a high diver. One day he dived from a platform 500 feet high into a bowl of spaghetti. And he was darn near killed. Some wise guy left a meatball in there. When they first met, she said to him, and he said to her, and she slapped his face because she hated men who said. But Don Jose had a way with women. He kissed her behind the ear. That's where her lips were. One day she baked him a cake, and he just sat there and smiled. Go over any day, he's still sitting there smiling. After a while, she forgot Don Jose. She met Escamillo, a rich bullfighter who only fought rich bulls. Now, the difference between a regular bull and a rich bull is this. A regular bull goes moo, and a rich bull goes lots of moo. Boy, was this guy rich. He had so many gold teeth he had to sleep with his head in a safe. And he had a pair of pants tattooed on his chest. He always wanted a chest with drawers. She didn't want to marry him for his money, but she couldn't figure out any other way to get it. So she said to him, "Marry me and I will wash your shirts. I will wash your underwear. I will wash your socks." And he replied, "Gad, what a price to pay for laundry." He told her he didn't love her, so she got even. She married him. She was jealous of his long black mustache. She was jealous because it was longer than hers. The crowds at the arena loved Escamillo. When he walked into the arena, they would applaud for hours on end. Then they would stand up and applaud. What a matador. He would look at the bull. The bull would look at him. He would look at the bull. The bull would look at him. You know something, amigos? The bull was better looking than him. When Escamillo would kill the bull, he would cut him up and have him made into bologna. Then he would eat the bologna, he would sing and sing. One day Carmen heard him singing, and she took a knife and stabbed him. And the moral of the story is, when you're full of bologna, keep your mouth shut. Once upon a time, there was a grasshopper and an ant. And came the summertime, and the little ant was very busy gathering up food and putting away things for the long, cold winter ahead. But not the grasshopper. He was out tootsieing around and having a wonderful time, and the little ant kept warning him, but he paid no attention. Then came the winter, and sure enough, the grasshopper was out in the cold, nothing to eat. He was starving, and he knocked on the door of the little ant, and he asked to be taken in and given something to eat. And she said, I warned you all during the summer that you should do something, that you should save your money, and that you'd put things away from the winter, and you didn't do it. But she felt sorry for him, and she brought him in and gave him food and clothing and a place to stay. And the moral of the story is, if you're down and out, get yourself a rich old ant.